Today, we're going to talk about Vapmans. If you are an enthusiast and you love vaping and you love to taste flower, the Vapman is the device for you. It's a microdoser, a taster, a sipper. This isn't for heavy hits. It isn't for back-to-back use. This is really if you like flower and you get a new flower that you want to taste, this is probably the purest way to do it. I have an original Vapman that was Swiss made. They no longer are made in Switzerland. They are no longer made in Switzerland. The new ones are Italian. The differences are very small. The mica is a little different on the newer ones. The top section is a little taller. So very minor differences. Function-wise, they pretty much function the same. Some say the heat is retained a little better on the newer ones because there's more mica on the bottom and better mica. But all of the function and the style and the mouthpieces, they're all compatible forwards and backwards. And again, it's the same. So as you see, you get a storage egg, which is really nice, little container to hold the whole device in it. The new ones are like a brown hemp, recycled hemp color. Then inside the storage egg, you also get this little funnel. There's a top section that has a mouthpiece. You can unscrew these screws to take this screen off and to clean it. When you take this screen off, be careful because there is a little retaining ring on the inside there that is one of those really easily lost things. I mean, to be honest, the screws are really easy to lose. So when you service this, just, take your time. Make sure you have a little cup or something to put all the parts in, or even I use the egg, and close the egg. When you put the screws in there, close the egg, because inevitably, if you bump this thing and it tips over, you'll lose a screw. So I always try and, this is one of those ones that's like, all the parts are really easy to lose. Then inside you have a concentrate sieve. It's just a little metal screen that if you want to use hash or something with, you can just put a little nugget of hash on there. And then you set that in there. Close it up. And it's ready to go. Take that out. Set that there. Then you have the funnel. This is what you use to load flour into the device. Basically, this little funnel is to stop the flour from falling into the little crevice there. As you can see, this passes through to the bottom. So you don't really want flour to get in there because that's the torch path. So if you get flour and stuck in there, now you're going to set it on fire and combust, and it's not a good day for anybody. So you just put the little funnel in there. Take some flour, a little pinch. And this is one of those devices you can literally put that much flour. If you wanted to just taste and really see what your flour is about, but we'll go ahead and we're just going to load it kind of as much as you should so you can kind of see the maximum amount of flour. The maximum amount of flour in this is really small. And I always like to make sure that all the flour is kind of in the center there. The other thing you can do is if you don't have a concentrate sieve, or if you want to do flour and concentrates, I will make a little donut and get the donut around the post there. Kind of just push it down around the post with some flour. And then you pop the funnel out. Click this back on. Now, here's the tricky part about the Vapman, is unlike the Dynavap that clicks or has some sort of indicator that says, hey, I'm ready, the Vapman is pretty much like driving a manual transmission car. You become really in tune with the device. You become really in tune with your flower or your concentrate that you put in there and your torch, because this whole thing is very analog. This is the plastic tip that comes with it. We're just going to switch it out to the glass Brasiliat one just to make it a little easier for me on the camera. As you can see, it's a lot longer. This is a nice, again, really helps with the flavor. There's no flavor loss in this. They also have a titanium one that's shorter, that's way easier and nicer for cleaning. So back to what I was saying about this being a very analog thing. The goal is you're going to heat and point the torch at the cone in there so the center of the point hits the center of the point. These little tubes here are direct into the chamber up here. So be careful that if you point the torch too much into there, the heat can actually backdraft and jet into there and combust. So you really want to get your torch to be right centered on top, not too close to where the torch is then jetting out this way. You kind of want the torch flame just to be pointed right at the end of the cone, just like this. So the mica is catching all the heat and radiating it in, using these little tubes to get the heat in there, and then the cone is warming and heating to heat the chamber up. So we're going to go ahead and show you just how you have to do this. Now again, this takes a lot of fine tuning. This is not for necessarily for beginners. This is an enthusiast device because it does take some trial and error. The general goal, you're going to heat for 3 to 5 seconds, and then you're going to taste it. And then you're going to hit 3-5 seconds, and then you're going to taste it. And you'll really see the development and the different flavors and the terpenes that come through. The other thing, I find that stock, the Vapman has a little too much airflow. So when I hit it, I do try and cover at least 2 of the holes. But the issue is you can't really cover the holes and torch at the same time because you'll burn the junk out of your fingers. So again, it takes a lot of kind of fine tuning and maneuvering to get this to work. So once you do get it to work and really find that rhythm, it's a fantastic, fantastic device. All right, so here we go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Not real vapor. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. And there comes the vapor. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. So that's the game with the Vapman. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. As you, the hash stuck a little bit to the top, which is okay. You just can push it back in there. But as you can see, I got those 2 rounds of pretty decent vapor. The darkness is just the hash that I had in there. There's nothing combusted. It's a light roast. I could probably run this a couple more times, and really squeeze every last drop out of it. But it's such a small amount that if you don't squeeze every last drop out of it, it doesn't really feel that bad. The other thing is that the slowness that you're consuming this in actually does get you a little more lit. It's, you know, it's like with the Dynavap, you feel the effects of lesser material more. This is even slower and smaller, so you'll feel the effects of lesser material even more. Essentially, you're maximizing the material, getting everything out of a very, very small amount. So that's it for the Vapman. You know, really, it's a really easy device as far as parts and all that other stuff goes. Just the heating technique is the real learning curve here. But once you get it, it's an amazing experience to have. And I'm just going to empty this out so you can see. Again, it just is really easy. It's not charred at all, not combusted. And the dish is clean, no residue. Yeah, amazing device. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. Stay lifted.